budget personnel hearing, and then we have the schedule of proposed levy rates. Superintendent Paul?
Yeah, I'd like to ask Lori to come up. Typically what you have to do is we have to have board action on setting of the levy rate. And at that time, by state code, Lori's going to say a couple things, and then we'll have to have, hopefully a motion and a vote.
In your packets was provided to you the proposed levy rate and a summary of these levy
Rick,
rates.
thank
And the schedule has been compiled based on the assessed values, which is given from the assessor's office. The schedule of proposed levy rates that needs to have board action, and then this needs to be a statutory meeting to stand adjourned until 4/19/16.
My recommendation is to have action as presented.
Move.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? For the records, 4-0. So for this personnel hearing, statutory budget meeting, I'll make a motion to adjourn that meeting.
Second.
Second, Ms. Biggins. Any discussion? All in favor? Next is regular meeting. Just for the record, we're a regular meeting at 8:47. Ms. Cottrell is not in attendance tonight for the record. First thing is Douglas County Youth Writers Winners. Superintendent Kaufman, I don't think there's anyone here, is that correct?
No, there were a couple students that couldn't be here the last time, so we invited them to come back, put it on the agenda, and we have certificates. We'll make sure they get them. They chose not to come.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Next one is Christina Richards. Is she available?
Yes, she is. Chris, thank you for all your work.
Oh.
JD, I think you know how much we appreciate you and Chad.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming.
We're just here again to renew our PRO grant. I met with the county commission on Tuesday. They have approved the writing of the grant and the rehiring of the 2 officers, Modisette and what's your name? Oh, yeah, Snyder. Okay.
Keep him on his toes.
Yeah. I was going to go over some things that they have done, maybe highlighted, but I'll go ahead and let Deputy Snyder just say a couple words. And before he does that, I've been thinking about it a long time, and I've already mentioned it at the county commission. I've been doing this for 8 years. I think this may be our 8th or 9th grant.
Sounds great.
And this one sentence covers everything that these 2 guys do in all 3 of our schools, not just the high school and middle school, but also the elementary and preschool. This is my definition of what they do and achieve. Our PRO officers are effective resources that have helped to reduce school disruptions, enhance safety, and most importantly to me, mentor students at risk and work with students and staff and parents to develop prevention and intervention strategies. If I had to sum it up in one sentence, I think that's what these 2 officers do for our students in our school. And they do many, many things. I think there's some misconception out there, and that's the reason why I really went in depth or details in the county commission meeting. These guys don't just sit in their office and do nothing. I do like them in that office because that's where the kids come. They come in there and tell them things. And this year has been a lot of one-on-one. I think
The students love them.
love them, that they could come and say, a lot of at-risk, especially I think more at the middle school. And one thing I wanted to say, at the high school, this is the 8th or 9th year, I forget which it is, their in-school suspensions have gone from, I think it was in 2011, they had 142, they're down to 41 in-school suspensions. Out-of-school suspensions, same thing, high numbers, they're down to, I think you may have had 4 or 5 out-of-school suspensions. That's phenomenal, and that's just the growth of the last 8 years. And the middle school has seen a decline. They have a long ways to go, and that's going to be their major focus next year, is one-on-one prevention, intervention, so the in-school suspensions, we'll start seeing decline in those and out-of-school suspension as there as well. So,
So you're wanting the motion to approve the grant?
yes.
To approve?
Well, in addition to that, the board has always paid around, I think it's about $10,000 for overtime for them to go to be at the
All games.
sporting
board
events,
meetings.
other events
I'll
as
make
well.
that motion.
Second.
We can't do presentations, it's on our agenda under new business.
You,
It is.
does the board have any objection of moving and getting that taken care of now? Any objection, Mr. Burnside? Recommendation, Superintendent Coffman.
I recommend, of course, that we continue the program. It's an excellent program. Just as presented by Chris, and Chris, we appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bell, you made the motion, you want to read it again?
You want me to make the motion
Yeah.
again? Yeah, I make a motion that we continue with the present
All
program.
right, second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any comments, Ms. Peggy? Mr. Bell?
Good program. Very necessary.
Very, thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
I know we're running late, also add one more thing, so I was telling the kids the other day, and Ms. Richards, I haven't had to do any juvenile petitions with any students this year. I think the most I've had to do was 3. It's been increasing every year, and I told the kids, I said, I think that, and it's a great accomplishment, and I hope we finish the school year like when I go to Charleston and report and stuff. We're probably the only school in the state that hasn't had to do no juvenile petitions.
That is phenomenal.
That was a great goal, I thought, to accomplish. We still can stay on that track.
Yeah.
Thank you,
But
guys.
thank you very much
Yeah.
for that.
For the record, delegations, there's no delegations. Reports, Superintendent Coffman. Academics.
None.
For the record, none report. Departmental, none. None report from Mr. Harvey. Others,
None.
none report. Consent agenda. Does any of the board members have anything you want to hold off the consent agenda?
So moved.
So move, Mr. Bell. Second, Ms. Peggy. All in favor? 4-0 for the record. Unfinished business. Policies, employee leave, policy revision, second reading. This is only second reading. If you have anything to add, you can send it to Superintendent Kaufman. Does anybody have any changes or anything tonight you want to talk to them about?
Do you remember why we revised it?
Can you go ahead and give them?
Okay, well, it's just involving, who, it said 3 days and it was supposed to be 5, and then it listed, who would qualify, like father, stepfather, things like that. It was just a revision, I guess you could say is what it was.
So for the record, this is only second reading, so no motion needs to be made. Guidelines for administering medicine at school policy, first reading. Let's talk, you want to talk about that as well?
Well, I've got them here, and what's happened, here's the policy, is, as always, and it was in your packet, anything that was eliminated has a line through it, and anything that was added is highlighted. And what happens is, based on stuff we get from the state, and based on stuff that our attorney recommends, and based on stuff that other counties do, you take a look at policies and you update them. So, again, you should look at this, and anything that's highlighted is added, anything that has line through it has been deleted. And do you have any question about anything with this policy, which is the administering of medication? A couple minor tweaks, nothing major.
So this is just the first reading again, so if there's any concerns, contact Superintendent Kaufman. Next is bullying, cyberbullying, harassment, intimidation policy, first reading, Superintendent Kaufman.
Same thing. I would just encourage you, like he says, since it's the first reading, to look at it. Now, what's different about this one is you won't see strikes and you won't see highlights, and the reason why is the state likes you to review this each and every year, this particular policy on bullying and harassment. It isn't required that you make any changes. In this case, we reviewed it, changes weren't necessary. but they like you to reapprove it each year. So that's why it was put on the agenda, so we can prove that it was reviewed and that, you know, that we're going to keep it, you know, as is. That will not need a second reading.
That will not, you said?
No, it will not.
So we need to approve it.
Yes, probably should have an action.
Okay. So a recommendation?
My recommendation is to approve as presented.
Move.
Second.
Second, Ms. Beck. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. 4-0. Freedom of Information Act Policy Revision, first reading.
Yeah, this is for you, you know, like if someone wants to request, you know, a particular item, then this is the process. Again, like the definitions have been changed slightly to make it easier to understand what a FOIA request is and how you do it. And there's a couple places, minor adjustments where we have lines that struck through. You know, like for instance, we changed the cost from 60 cents to 50 cents a page. You know, just updated it based on what other people are suggesting that we do to make it, you know, a good policy. So look at the highlights because that's what's added. Look at what's struck out. And if you have any questions, please contact me. If there's something else you want to see added, let me know.
So nothing, no action needed.
No, because like you said, first reading.
Next is a superintendent's contract motion clarification. Superintendent Coffman.
Yes, Mr. Bell asked me to put this on here, and I think it involves, you know, when he made the motion to give me an additional 12 months employment, and I don't know, what do you want to say from there, and then I'll comment.
Okay. I made the motion with, to give Mr. Copeland another year's contract with salary negotiable. So, and there seemed to be some confusion over salary negotiable. And I talked to an attorney and asked him, you know, about making another motion. And if we would have at the time going into executive session, had a little discussion, we could have come back out and rescinded and amended that motion. But I'm getting a feedback that it was like buying a car, buying a house. It did not have to be that way. It did not have to be that way. So, you know, Mr. Copeland wanted an up or down vote, and then when we come back out, we hear all these excuses. So, I would like to make that motion again. And as we all know, he agreed to work for the same salary. So, I make a motion, we are Mr. Copeland's superintendent at the same salary that he's working for right now.
Mr. Bell made a motion.
Did anybody hear me about that? It said last time it couldn't hear me.
Question.
We have to have a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Burnside. Any discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Burnside.
So your clarification is that the superintendent's contract is at the same salary, it doesn't have to be negotiated, it's at the same salary
Right.
currently working in.
I was under the impression the last time that we all knew that he had told us that he would work for the same salary as presently.
I did.
So if you have anything to say, I'm just trying to
No,
clarify.
the other thing I would add to that is
what
you
I
would,
know.
you wouldn't even have to go, you wouldn't even have to go into executive session. If someone thought there was going to be a salary increase, they could have just said, you know, Mr. Bell or Mr. Kaufman, are you saying that you're asking for more money? And I would have said, no, I've already told you a couple times I would do it for the same salary, which would be the same for 3 years in a row. because, I told the board that I would do it for the same salary, so
Let me ask you a question. Where do you rank?
38th or 39th I have for the past 2 years, out of 55 counties.
What's it we mean, right?
In other words, there's 55 counties and they rank the salaries. And my salary is either 38th or 39th. Let's just say for the sake of discussion, 38th.
What's the salary now?
108,000, and it has been for, 2 years.
Any other discussion from board members? Motion was made by Mr. Bell, second Mr. Burnside. All in favor? Two says aye. Any nays? None. Two, so it fails for lack of majority. Mr. Burnside, you want to take over the next session?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Item 8.
Let me step out and you can explain why.
Item 8, new business. Mountaineer Creative Arts Council Board of Directors request. The reason Mr. Evans recused himself is he serves on that board. So Mr. Kaufman, you want to share the request and your recommendation?
Sure. Each year we have just an awesome play put on by the Mountaineer Creative Arts. And in fact, Mr. Evans and Mr. Alexander, and, just a lot of people in our community work with, 40, 50 elementary, middle school, high school kids. This year's production, I believe, is the Lion King. We've had awesome ones in the past, and it's good for the county, it's good for the students, and it's very cultural. Last year, they asked for $5,000 in which to put this on. They have awesome sets, awesome costumes, awesome special effects, and it costs money to put something on first class like this. So my recommendation, would be, since they came and made the same request this year, last week, for $5,000, my recommendation would be to approve the Daughters County Board of Education spending the $5,000 again to put this production on.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
All right, let's say move Ms. Dottie, second Mr. Bell. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 3-0. Mr. Evans back in the room.
All right, next is, we already took care of item under new business under B was pro officer grants. That was taken care of with the board's approval, moving one up on the agenda. Next is backhoe purchase approval, Superintendent Kaufman.
Yeah, we talked about this at the previous meeting. We need a backhoe. We looked locally and found a used 2007, and it was in good shape. We talked to that individual and got him down as far as we could, and he ended up saying that he would give it to us for $22,000, and he would give us the lowest we could get him on the trailer to haul it. Takes a special trailer for something that heavy. Tractor with a bucket and a backhoe is a pretty big deal. It weighs several thousand pounds, probably 4,000 pounds. And so we got him down to 3 on the trailer. Took Mr. Harvey and the operator, Vern Russell, and actually ran the equipment, looked at it, talked to the owner, and then he said that's, would be as low as he would go, which would be $25,000 for both. So before we brought it to the board, we also went up to Parks and it inquired, did they think that was a fair price, because that's where it was purchased. What's the blue book, on a 2007 with that many horsepower, so on and so forth. Well, the owner kind of got involved when he found out it was a Daughters County Board of Education, and he said that he would like to have one of their pieces of equipment being utilized in our county, doing work for the school system. So he said he would be willing to give us at cost something actually that's better. It would have 2 more horsepower, a better backhoe, better bucket, plus since it's brand new, instead of having 380 hours, it would have 0 hours. It would have a 3-year warranty, and then he would give us that backhoe. Instead of $29,000, we could get it for $23,000, And then instead of paying $3,000 for a used trailer, we could get also a trailer at cost for $2,450, which means for $450 more, we could get brand new equipment. And that's, of course, what I would recommend.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Burnside.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bell. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
For March 21st, 2016 special meeting student hearing, Superintendent Call.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got a letter from the middle school principal and the high school principal. We had 2 7th graders, an 8th grader, and a freshman that consumed alcohol on the school bus, and we're going to have a hearing, because of that. And we follow the whole process. You afford them an opportunity for representation, and I think none of the 4 requested hearing, but we still have to go through the process.
So we're holding that date just in case.
Well, no, we're going to have it on that day.
Either way.
Yeah,
Even
we're going to
if they
have it. Yeah, even if they don't show.
Move.
And that's this coming Monday at 6 p.m.
Okay, I made a motion, Mr. Burnside seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Finance budget supplement transfer,
None that I'm aware of.
none to report.
Is that hearing at 6 o'clock, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Personnel resignations, Jennifer Ford, head football coach,
And volleyball. yeah.
volleyball, sorry.
That's all right.
So moved.
So move, Mr. Bell.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Piggott. Any discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Jennifer Johnson, yearbook advisor, Daughters County Middle School.
By the way, we'll interview for that on Monday. There's 3 candidates. Okay. Yeah, yearbook advisor. And we just got that. We just got that resignation, so we'll have to, we'll have to post and all that kind of stuff.
Move.
Second.
Second. Ms. Piggott. Any discussion? All in favor? 4-0 for the record. Retirements,
None that I'm aware of.
none to
Sorry.
report. Employment, Global 21 Skills Teacher Technology Integration Specialist.
Yeah, remember when we, did the things, you have your hiring sheet, Jeff? You remember when we did some of the changes, with some of our employees, the transfers and realignments and different things. Just to refresh your memory, the tech ed teacher will move to the high school, and then what we will do is, like we do at the elementary, where we teach elementary students technology skills, Terry Moss, instead of just being a TIS, he will teach technology skills to middle school students in a classroom setting, similar, the same rotation that we had for tech ed. And so he will be a Global 21 teacher slash TIS. And of course, my recommendation, would be to do that. Yeah, Terry Moss is the recommendation, I'm sorry.
Motion, Mr. Burnside.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bell.
How much time is he going to be doing that? Because I know they really need him as a TIS there. How much time is he going to be teaching this class?
Yeah, one thing that we're going to do to help with that, Ms. Dottie, it's a good question, is, before school, during lunch, and even a little bit after school, he'll have kind of like a college, what do they call that, where they bring their computers in to get it worked on.
Like a tech help time.
Yeah, like a help desk. He'll do like a help desk several times, like I said, before school, at lunch, or after school for a little bit, where students can bring their tablets in if they need something done. And then, of course, he has an extended contract, so he'll still be in charge of taking the tablets up at the end of the year. So he has an extra days, and then at the beginning of the year, he has extra days to give them out and to get everything ready. And to tell you exactly how many minutes in the schedule, do you remember the master schedule? I'm sorry, I can't give you an exact answer, but his day will be made up of teaching classes that will rotate, I think it's at every 6 weeks, technology skills, and then part of the day he will be doing TIS duties, which is helping teachers utilize technology during their lessons. So he will still do TIS duties, but he will also teach. So
Okay, I just wondered, because I know
it'll be split up.
he's busy.
He is busy, and he does a good job.
So we won't have the traditional chalk classes at the elementary, or at the middle school anymore?
Correct. We will have a full-time STEM program, pre-engineering, with things like computer-aided drafting, manufacturing, those type of things. So we'll go from virtually nothing at the high school to having a full program. And then, like you say, we'll lose tech ed, which breaks my heart because I'm a tech ed certified person that taught it for 24 years. But the problem is, if you look at the colleges that turn out tech ed students, there's no one graduating tech ed students. In fact, one of the last ones to graduate was Daniel Higgs, and we attracted him to the position. He's done a good job for us at the middle school. I hate the fact that those students aren't going to be able to rotate through tech ed, but at least they'll have an opportunity when they get to high school, if they want to be an architect or an engineer, to take the classes that they need that we presently really can't offer.
And this will take place next year?
Next school year. Yes.
Anything else, Mr. Burnside? All in favor? For Cook to Daughters County Elementary School.
Superintendent recommends Tina McCartney.
So moved.
So move, Mr. Bell.
Second.
Second, Ms. Pickett. Any discussion? All in favor? For head volleyball coach, Daughters County Middle School.
We had 3 applicants and we're interviewing Monday afternoon.
Okay, so no action needs to be made.
Right.
Probationary permit.
Mr. President, I choose to recuse myself from items 4 and 5.
So for the record, Mr. Burnside stepped out for underemployment, items 4 and 5. Probationary permit employees, FY 2016, 2017, Superintendent Kaufman's recommendation.
Yes. You probably should glance at that list. It's all the people, including administrators, and it shows clear to the right how many years' experience they have and why they're either probationary or continuing. Julie and I went over those again today. You might be a little bit confused when you see a veteran. We'll just say like the one under probationary contract permit teachers. Since she's now getting certified to be a pre-K special needs, then that means that she kind of had to start over again on her experience, and that's the reason why until she completes it, she'll be probationary. If you look on the second page, there used to be an ECAT certification. So we've got aides that, even though they have a lot of experience, they don't have 3 years of being an ECAT certified person, so that's why they're there. And I don't know, I mean, if there's any questions you have, Julie is really, really careful when she puts this together, and like I say, we went over it. I recommend that the board approve this list as presented.
So move, Mr. Bell. Second. Any discussion? All in favor? For the record, 3-0. Extracurricular contracts, FY 2016, 2017.
Yeah, the same thing. The only corrections, you just heard that Jennifer Johnson resigned the DCH yearbook, so that'll have to be, reposted. Also on the first page, if you look at the drivers' activity and UTC, they've requested, that they get a raise in relation to, what the other counties, I think, are paying for similar duties. And in talking to the people here at the board office, including Ms. Julie, I've just asked the board that they consider this because, and I'll just tell you right now, if I made a recommendation, it would be to not only the UTC, but it would be to up the activity runs. It's really hard to get people to take those, to make them all 45 instead of 40. Would be my suggestion for the board to consider. I promised the drivers that I would mention that. If you look on the second page, a lot of these say vacant, vacant, vacant. You're thinking, now wait a minute, I know JD is still the weightlifting person, but if it is citizen coach, all those have to be, reposted each year. That's the reason why the word vacant is by those. Also, Jennifer Ford just resigned the volleyball, so that will be a change. And Devin Wells is now the head track coach. And also, since for middle school, since we can't find anyone, I talked to Faith about this today, since no one's applied all these times that we posted and we're already well into the season, they're probably just going to, my recommendation would just be short one assistant track coach for middle school because we were unable to fill it. Really, that's all. The other thing I wanted to mention, and Jeff, you might want to say a word about this. Remember, we riffed all the leadership positions, and what we're doing now is we're paying them $25 an hour stipend rate, and that's because of the federal cuts. Anything you want to add to that? That's the reason why they're not on here. Remember, we had a separate contract for the leadership team last year.
Yeah, and actually with the cuts that we just learned about, we'll not be able to return to, we'll have to stay with stipend pay for that activity next year. Again, you can't control the fact that you get the information from the state about the cuts after the timeline, which you've had to do with the transfer season. So we weren't sure we were going to get a cut. They said no cuts, but then turned around and we got a cut. So basically all I'm telling you is we'll go back to having leadership be paid through stipend pay. It won't be an extra duty contract anymore, but we'll still have it as an activity.
Won't make a big difference in what they pay, but, you know, it's going to save the county a little bit of money.
So no one applied for that assistant coach.
No, we posted it how many times? 2 or 3 times?
Is there any way to look at it as a, not a supervisor, but anything from just to watch over the kids? My biggest concern is when they have 3 people watching over all these kids. I mean, is there any other alternatives?
Well, I suppose we could have an approved volunteer like we do in some of the other sports to help with supervision. If we could find someone, you know, reliable that doesn't have it has a good background check.
Just
that
to
would be
watch
willing
them,
to do
maybe
it.
do their paperwork. It might even be a paid position if they don't feel like they know the track program, just to, so they have an extra eyes for those kids. I mean, that's a lot of kids in those schools.
Yeah, they have a lot of people down there on the track. I agree with you. They did it for 25 years. Yeah, I think it would be legal. I mean, I guess I could,
They might not need it.
I can check with,
They might have under. The coach's request was that if no one applied, just to not do this. Let's go to coaches.
okay.
Your motion.
Thank you, Jim.
Your motion is with the changes?
Yeah, with the changes that I discussed, I would recommend that, you know, we have action to approve.
Move. Second. Second, Ms. Pigg. Any discussion? All in favor? 3-0. Leave request?
None of them were on. Oh, yeah. Of course, you know, he just so everyone understands.
There is.
Oh, there is?
Yes.
Well, wait a minute, let me just get back to this for a minute. Just to explain, he had one son on the one and another son on the other, is the reason why he recused himself, and we appreciate
For
that.
the record, Denver's back in the
Yeah.
room, so four board members.
Okay, is there a leave request? Let me see where we're at.
That's-
I lost my place, yes. What's going on with Betsy, she's a substitute custodian, is she is going to have some surgery, I believe it's carpal tunnel, but the bottom line is, the reason why she's asking for leave, in our policy, and every county has a policy, once you don't respond to a call to come and sub 8 times, I think it is in the Jeff, then she doesn't want to be in jeopardy of being knocked off the sub list because of her surgery. So I would recommend that we accept her request.
So move. Mr. Bell? Yep.
Sorry, Jeff. I lost my
Second.
place.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. 4-0. Other athletic director's contract and posting, Superintendent Carlton.
Yeah, the reason why that's bolded is before the deadline, we almost forgot to put it on there. But remember when we talked about rifts and transfers, one of them was because of the massive workload, you know, on Mr. Bunnell, because he's AD, of course, at the high school and the middle school, coordinating all those events. And, you know, he pretty much doesn't have a life. He works so much. I mean, he works almost every evening, weekends, through the summer. So my recommendation when we post it, okay, because the guy's already working it, is to move it from a 220 contract to a 261 And in checking with Julie and Lori, that will result in about $5,000? Yeah, but, the guy just, he really needs it, because how it will help him is it will, like for instance, when he's doing all these athletic events, if he needs to take one of his kids to the doctor or something, he can actually utilize a vacation day during the school year, and not be in jeopardy of not being able to do his activities. So that's my recommendation.
Move.
Second.
Second, Ms. Piggy. Discussion. All in favor? 4-0.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'd make a request, we go into executive session for just a few minutes to discuss personnel.
Second. So, all in favor? 4-0. Going to executive session for personnel reasons per Mr. Burnside. So we're in executive session all right, we're back in regular session at 9:45. We only have a few things. It's just informational items, school accountability attendance summary, 7th month report, Daughters County High School Senior Recognition Program, Daughters County High School Student Correspondence. You want to talk about any of those?
Yes, it's real important that we talk about B, because what's happened is, how we used to do awards day during school, for the seniors, there's a good reason for that, because colleges and companies come and give scholarships. And if you don't do it during school, I hate to say this, but a lot of kids don't show up to get those awards, and it makes them and the school look really bad. Also, it's a captive audience so that you can be recognized in front of your peers, which is really important. So we're going to make sure that change is made. And then as far as DCHS student correspondence, that's some thank yous for us allowing guest poets to come into English classes. So there's letters, I believe, for you all, giving you thanks. I thought that was a classy thing to do.
What were your comments, Ms. Pigott?
Only just one thing, and I wish it could be more positive. But we all know that West Virginia teachers are 48 in the United States. Douglas County teachers are 48 in West Virginia. We need to do something about that. That's all.
Mr. Bell?
I made a motion again tonight, and it failed for the second time. I just feel bad for Mr. Kaufman. I think he deserves better. And I know it's a beating a dead horse, but it's, I just have a hard time with it. I think it's wrong. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Burnside? Thank you, Mr. Bell. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? 4-0.
So,
So, maybe this is on.